Why did Charles Tiffany, the most trusted jeweler in New York, fall for two ragged miners holding a bag of rocks? In 1872, Philip Arnold and John Slack walked into his shop, looking half-starved, boots caked in dried mud. They were dressed like men who had never touched real money. Tiffany studied their stones and called them worth a fortune. He wasn't stupid. He was reacting exactly the way two strangers wanted him to. Feeling smarter than the person across the table isn't a compliment. It's a signal. Someone is reading it right now. By the end of this, one of the richest men in the world will chase that exact feeling and pay for it. Arnold and Slack understood something most people never learn. Hiding how smart you are isn't the real trick. Making someone else feel smart is. The moment someone believes they're the sharpest person in the room, they stop checking the details. They stop asking follow-up questions. They start explaining things to you instead of watching you. You've felt this before, at work, in a negotiation, maybe today. Someone made a mistake or acted a little slow, and you relaxed. You leaned in closer, ready to help, ready to feel useful. That relaxation is the entire trap. Nobody drops their guard around someone they respect as an equal. They drop it around someone they've quietly decided is beneath them. Arnold and Slack had spent years digging for gold out west with nothing to show for it. So they built a story instead, patient enough to fool every expert who looked at it. They bought real diamonds in Europe and buried them on a stretch of empty land in Wyoming. Then, they let a hired expert discover the stones by accident. Word reached banker William Ralston in San Francisco, then financier Asbury Harpending. Eventually, it reached Baron Rothschild in London, one of the richest men alive. Every one of them looked at two dirty, uneducated miners and felt nothing but pity. Ralston handed them $100,000 in cash, just to keep them cooperating. What happened when the real mining expert showed up should have ended everything right there. Henry Janin, the country's top mining engineer, spent 8 days digging at the site. He pulled out diamonds, rubies, and sapphires by the handful. He told the investors this land could produce $1 million in gems every month. Harpending and Ralston rushed home and built a $10 million company on the spot. Then they quietly pushed Arnold and Slack toward a smaller payout, $700,000. In exchange, the two miners had to sign away every right to the land. The two miners agreed, took the cash, and disappeared. There was no mine. There had never been a mine, just two patient men who let the smartest financiers in the country misread them completely. Next time someone seems too simple to be dangerous, ask what you're not looking at. Arnold and Slack fooled bankers out of money. 7 years before that, in Europe, one man used the same trick to fool an entire government. In 1865, Prussian minister Otto von Bismarck needed Austria to sign a treaty that gave Prussia almost everything. The Austrian negotiator, Count Blome, had one strange habit. He believed he could read a man's true character just by watching him play cards. Bismarck knew this. What Blome trusted most about himself was about to be used against him. The night before negotiations began, in the spa town of Bad Gastein, Bismarck invited Blome to play a hand of cards. Then, he played terribly, on purpose, betting wildly on hands any child could see were weak. He lost a small fortune at that table in one night. Blome watched closely and drew his conclusion. This Prussian was reckless, impulsive, no real threat at the negotiating table the next morning. That single mistake decided how an entire treaty got signed. Convinced he already understood his opponent, Blome barely read the document before putting his name on it. Bismarck walked away with almost everything Prussia wanted. He admitted later, in his own letters, that losing money at cards that night was the smartest move he made all year. He hadn't been careless for 1 second. He'd been hunting. The next time you think you've read someone in one sitting, ask what they let you see. Here's what this means: the next time you're negotiating a raise, a deal, or a favor, a diamond mine and a treaty unraveled the same way. Confidence replaced double-checking. The person who seems slower than you, less polished than you, less prepared than you, is not automatically safe to underestimate. Comfort is where damage gets done. Being underestimated isn't weakness. It's often the most expensive weapon in the room, and almost nobody sees it coming. Tiffany kept his reputation. Rothschild kept his fortune mostly, and learned to look twice at diamonds. Blome went home having handed Prussia the exact advantage Austria sent him to protect, without ever noticing the moment it happened. Somewhere right now, someone is letting you feel smart on purpose. You don't know it yet, but you're already part of their plan.